Welcome. Welcome to the Spirit Log. I'm trying out contacts again today, and I just showered, so who knows what my hair's doing. Maybe it's this side. It's kind of a good mirror. Anyway, today what I'd really like to focus on is the past, which is kind of unpopular these days somehow. I see so many inspirational quotes and encouragements and recommendations for people to forget the past or just look at the future or only be present in this moment or don't let the past be part of the present or things like that. And I think that within context, it's good advice. But I think as a standalone inspirational quote or recommendation, it's really dumb. And I think some very smart people are saying it. So no in judgment of the people necessarily. I just think that it takes a lot of courage to look at where we've come from and to take the next step forward to say, and how does that inform where I am now? It doesn't mean that we have to limit where we're going. We don't have to repeat the same pattern or the same history or the same mistake or the same trauma. But to get the lesson, to get the benefit of what it took to overcome that situation or what we can learn about ourselves from that situation. And I'm not talking about victim blaming. No, no, no. What I'm talking about is the idea that there is something in each experience that helps us grow and become stronger, more self-confident, more compassionate. We change. We change based on what we've survived or lived through or overcome or celebrated or accomplished. And it's really important. Wow, this must be really important for me to do because my fifth chakra's acting up, all about personal truth and speaking your truth and stuff. It's really important to honor where we come from, to honor why we are who we are and why we have the toolkit that we are bringing with us into the future. There are people who have stamina like you would not believe because that's what it has taken to get to where they are now. And instead of saying, well, I come from this dirt place, this bad place, or, there's nothing good in my past, what we say is, wow, look at the stamina that I have developed. I'm going to use that to get where I really want to go in the future. And right now I'm going to celebrate that my stamina got me this far because look where I started. Or we say, wow, me personally, I've been through a bankruptcy. I've been through a horrible divorce. I've been stalked. I've been, traumatized. I've had a lot happen in my time already. And instead of saying, wow, I'm a victim, because I am not a victim. What I say is, wow, if I overcame all of that, then whatever I'm facing next just doesn't stand a chance. Because I'm that strong. And I've overcome that much, and I've gained all of those different skills and all of those different experiences and understandings. I have so much compassion for what people might be going through that you cannot see just by looking at them. I have so much respect for each person simply because they're still alive. And it's not about, hey, I've been depressed too, and I suffer with anxiety at times. And what I'm learning to do is tell those voices the same thing that I used to tell other voices in my head. I hear voices. But we all have that inner critic, that critic that says, what are you doing? Why do you bother? You're not good enough. All of those nasty self-criticisms that we say to ourselves. We can even say, man, look how these people over here are treating you, you must deserve it. And it's not really true. And where did I come from with this? Because I really want to make that point now. And so it's this beautiful thing to be able to say, wow, I have so much compassion for where people are coming from. Or to say, you know, I used to tell those inner voices that said those bad things to me, well, you know, I feel how I feel right now. And it's important to acknowledge my true feelings because they're not going to change even if I ignore them. And it's actually unhealthy for me to just box them away and pretend they're not there. It's a little cancerous, kind of. But they don't have to control what I choose to do in the situation. And I'm talking about normal daily situations. I'm not talking about extreme life or death situations, because those fight or flight responses, you have to really train hard to learn how to not fight or flight in a situation like that, where it's about your survival. I do not hold any judgment on someone who has, or frozen. That's another thing. You know, the fight or flight, there's a third option that's actually very common, is that we freeze. It's a survival technique, and it's a very basic survival technique. And if you survived, I'm glad you're here. And so the day-to-day stuff, though, that voice that's always there in the back of your head criticizing, to learn to say, hey, you know, I hear that voice is there, but I don't have to agree with it. Or to get really angry, or really defensive, or really scared, or, you know, to be faced with a new situation and have a lot of doubt, and you can say, wow, you know, this is a new situation, and I'm finding it a little bit overwhelming. And I'm going to acknowledge how I feel, you know, the fear that I'm feeling or the anxiety that I'm feeling right now with this new situation. But I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not going to let it decide what I do next. I'm still going to go experience this new situation. I'm going to try the new food at the restaurant I've never been to before. Or I'm still going to go and talk to all those people in that group over there, because you know what? I'm here to make that happen, and I have something valuable to say, and I'm not going to let those little voices in my head or the emotion of anxiety stop me from being true to me, from doing something that I value with my life and with my time. I think that was Vader, who just stopped by and then walked off. He's a great example of this very thing. When he first came to us in the kitten room, he was so terrified of people. He hated people. And in fact, when it came time for him to have his spay and neuter surgery, he's a boy, I think. Not that it matters that much. As long as you are you, that's what counts, I think. It took us 20 minutes to catch him in a room, 2 people, and nothing else, because he was that freaked out. And over time, he's come to decide that even though he still gets scared when we move suddenly, he doesn't really need to act on that fear and run away and hide from us, because really, he knows, he's come to recognize that we love him and we want good things for him, and we want him to be happy with his life. And so he purrs and gets on our laps and demands attention when he wants it now. And I love that he's been able to do that. But it took some time and some practice, and it took some patience on our part. So when we're looking at our past and we're looking at those, hey, just move forward, don't look back kind of things, I think, you know, you're missing out. You're missing out on half of what makes you so capable of overcoming your next challenge, of meeting your next goal, because you got this far. And even if some of the things that you've done in the past are mistakes, or you don't like who you were or what you did, or you don't really want to be re-traumatized by what you've survived, there's a point of saying, I did survive, and I can use the skills again, or I can decide that I want new skills and I can go hunt for those new skills, so that the next time a challenge happens, I have skills, or I have confidence because I have overcome challenges in the past. Whatever that is, or just to say, hey, you know, I understand this background. My family had this background. I've made some different choices. I educated myself and I made a different choice. And that means that now, instead of only knowing one thing, I know a couple of different things, or I looked at several different options and I've chosen, but I can speak intelligently or listen intelligently on all those different options that I understand are out there. And there's a real power to that I would love for you to be able to benefit from in your life now and in your life in the future. And I think that requires us to look back without getting caught there, without repeating the past. So I think that the context of saying move forward is really important. And with that, I wish you well. Blessings on your journey, and I look forward to seeing you here again soon.